I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
Steppenwolf. My lord, I am but your humble servant.
Your world has sheltered one of my citizens. I request that you return this individual to my custody.
Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker.
These are the top 25 times when DC villains made a legendary entrance in the movies. Let's kick things off with some recent savagery, shall we? For this one, we have a fake entrance and a real entrance. The reason why I'm saying this is because the miniature kaiju that makes its first entrance via the box isn't exactly cut out to be on this list. However, the massive appearance later on is very much in line with what we normally see at the TV region. While the kaiju itself doesn't need to do much to create a fuss, I do like how Superman does his best to ensure he doesn't kill it, despite the nuisance it's causing. Also, it got the celebrity treatment with everyone clicking pictures rather than trying to run away like people who have brains.
Come on.
You will take the throne of Kandak and unleash hell on earth. Speak our name.
Sabach.
Coming up next is a cool character design in red. It also happens to be a very diabolical entrance considering the way he arrives in the movie. If Demon Time ever needed a poster child, it would definitely be Sabach. His transformation might have been on the shorter side, but the impact it had on the whole film was undeniable. The reveal hit hard, and honestly, his overall design looked way cooler than Black Adam's. Watching him get scorched and reborn by the Demon Lords felt like the ultimate upgrade, the kind that fully commits to the dark power fantasy vibe. He doesn't speak a word during the transformation, yet his presence says it all. Like, you can practically feel him thinking, let's see anyone stop me now. While the moment unfolds quickly, it never feels rushed. The pacing fits the intensity of what's happening as it balances shock and awe perfectly. It's one of those rare entrances that feels both terrifying and satisfying to watch, solidifying Sabach as a standout villain in Black Adam.
Not prepared to die.
It was right ahead. But how are we going to gain access?
Know ye a little space.
Hey look, it's the new Superman movie once more, although with a different villain. The reason it's higher on the list is because it contains the entrance of a generational hater. The scene actually includes the entrances of 3 core villains. The nonchalance of his vibe serves as a perfect contrast to all the violence around him, and taking off the shades in the middle of this was kind of like the perfect cherry on top of the cake if you're on the villain side. But man, kudos to Nicholas Hoult for being able to showcase so much hate with such a natural ability.
Superman. He's not a man. He's an it. A thing with a cocky grin and a stupid outfit.
It's maximum voltage, actually. Amongst other names, we're still kind of workshopping it, so...
Up next is a surprise appearance, and no, I'm not talking about an exciting guest. Our man Shazam didn't see that dragon coming, did he? So this isn't exactly like a first appearance, but it's also an entrance nonetheless, so it counts. I know we have Calypso on top of Ladon too, but it's the dragon who deserves the credit in this moment. Also, in the age of deteriorating CGI, Ladon's design wasn't all that bad actually. His flight animation was quite cool, and even his menacing eyes made you feel fear, which kind of works for his brand identity. Shazam may have had a hilarious back and forth with Calypso, but he was clearly bested because he couldn't do anything to stop his foes here.
That's right. Run!
Zod,
Coming in at number 21 is General Zod, but not in a Superman movie. Yeah, here he's countering a heroic entrance with his own. We've got the two Flashes and Supergirl doing their thing, but the attention completely shifts to Zod once he decides to step into the battlefield. Look, we all know the outcomes of the multiple time-shifting fights that happen after this moment, but I feel I should include them as they make the entry look so much better in hindsight.
Terraforming has begun. This world must die so that ours may live again.
Zod looked like an unbeatable foe, and he walked the talk right after, despite competing with Supergirl and the Flash. Okay, maybe Supergirl wasn't at her best, but it is still a crazy flex.
What did you do?
The infant did not survive.
He's going to fight us without the power suit?
I told you he's stronger now.
He's still just a surface dweller.
Now we have the new Black Manta, who definitely looks like the real deal. The Aquaman sequel doesn't have a lot going for it, but Black Manta's entrance was definitely a highlight. Just look at his glowing red eyes. Anyone would want to make a run for it after seeing such a character. It's a sinister aura for sure, and the fact that he was taking on Aquaman and his brother at the same time says a lot about how much stronger he's become.
Come at me! The killer of kings!
He pretty much made the good guys a bunch of jokes. I mean, from that one punch, Patrick Wilson totally went from being Orm to being Ed Warren all over again.
I never expected to see you two fighting side by side.
We're making a special exception just for you.
Up next is a blatant announcement from a man who just doesn't care. Arthur Fleck is done with society at this point, and right from when he enters the elevator, we know we're witnessing the actual Joker's origin. The real fun is when he does his little dance on the stairs, because it essentially announces him as the man we all bought tickets to see. It's a flashy display, and all the credit goes to Joaquin Phoenix for being able to pull off the sequence with such impact. Man, this was the Joker we all wanted to see in Folie à Deux, but I suppose the folks at DC thought that the audience would have liked the complete opposite of what the first movie was.
Hey, Arthur! We need to talk!
Hey! Stop, Arthur! We're of two minds about what to eat first.
I hope you made extra.
Who the hell are you?
Just a friend.
At number 18 is the Riddler interrupting Two-Face. A man was probably trying to have a nice time with his lady friends, but you just can't keep Jim Carrey out of the spotlight now, can you? I gotta say this, Riddler is the weirdest villain ever. Man's like, I've got no powers, no fighting skills and no money, but I'll still be the biggest darn nuisance you've ever seen. Just look at him making his entrance with that cane and that pose.
But you can call me
The Riddler.
I'm pretty sure he was just waiting for that cue card to tell him he can come in now. The Riddler may be a villain, but you just can't bring yourself to hate him now, can you?
This is your brain on the box. This is my brain on the box. Does anybody else feel like a fried egg?
Going to join your wife?
So this one's more of a preconceived entrance, but Two-Face still does a good job of it. Expect to see lots of Batman villains because they do know how to enter with sass. This one's got Two-Face as well, but he's the one making an appearance, unlike in the previous entry. Now, in this case, Maroni chose the wrong time to go for a drive, because Mr. Dent's waiting for him with a coin toss that has his name on it. We get a proper double face reveal, and the ensuing car crash added further implications to his appearance. I wonder what would have happened if the car actually flipped back to its good side. Yeah, those next few seconds would have been super awkward.
You're a lucky man. He's not. Who? Your driver.
Whoa.
Drop everything you're doing right now. It's time to say hello to a giant starfish. That's right, Staro easily rivals any Pokemon when it comes to star power. Get it? Anyway, his entrance in the Suicide Squad is unforgettable as he emerges from chaos after the team's apparently secret mission goes completely off the rails. What makes his reveal so effective is how unprepared the squad is for it. None of them expected to battle a towering starfish with terrifying Mind Hive capabilities. By the time he appears, most of their teammates are already gone, leaving a ragtag bunch of villains to take him on. The moment he spreads his mini starfish to control everyone else in the vicinity stands out as pure horror brilliance, showing how quickly he can build an army. Say what you will about James Gunn, but he certainly knows how to craft something bold and bizarre. Oh, and here's a fun fact. Staro was the Justice League's first ever villain in the comics.
Are you so desperate to fight criminals that you lock yourself in to take them on one at a time?
Actually, there were 7 of them.
I counted 6, Mr. Wayne.
It really must feel so sudden to have a villain showing up out of the blue. Ra's al Ghul was the man who trained Batman, and he'd go on to become the first main villain of the Nolan trilogy as well. It all works out well enough, and I want to highlight how he suddenly emerges out of the shadows, much to Bruce Wayne's surprise. Heck, I bet Robert Pattinson's eyeliner Batman took a leaf out of Ra's al Ghul's manual on how to use the shadows to your advantage as well. On a serious note, it's a perfect entrance for someone of his stature, and it's pure aura farming. What's even more surprising is that Liam Neeson wasn't even cast and taken at this point in time.
If you devote yourself to an ideal, and if they can't stop you, then you become something else entirely.
In at number 14 is a highly alluring femme fatale. Poison Ivy is known for her seductive techniques, but this is a pretty grand entrance even before she shows everyone her face. It's so absurd because she's dancing in a monkey suit at a party, but the energy of the scene completely changes once everyone realizes who's underneath the costume. It's one of the few saving graces of an otherwise forgettable film. Man, Uma Thurman must have gotten some serious back problems considering she was carrying the whole movie by herself. I'm actually quite surprised that we haven't got a solo Poison Ivy movie or TV show yet.
Hi there.
And you are...
Poison. Poison Ivy.
Would you like to see my mask? I use it in my experiments. Probably not very frightening to a guy like you, but these crazies, you can't stand it.
Up next is Cillian Murphy in a role most of us may have forgotten. I sure as heck haven't, because it's like meeting a literal nightmare. Jonathan Crane's Scarecrow persona feels like a true unmasking of who he really is. Without it, he blends in as a calm and composed psychiatrist, but once he puts on that rough burlap mask, the facade of normalcy falls away.
They scream and they cry. Which is your now?
The mask isn't just hiding his face, it exposes his inner madness and turns him into something far more sinister. When Falcone comes face to face with Scarecrow, the fear on his face says everything. The chilling line, "Would you like to see my mask?" lands with the same unsettling power as any other villain. It's psychological horror at its finest, revealing both the terror of the victims and the delight of the man causing it. Cillian Murphy deserves credit for making such a lasting impression with limited screen time, proving that even a brief entrance can define an entire character.
Well, he's not faking. Not that one. I'll talk to the judge and see if I can get him moved to the secure wing at Arkham. I can't treat him here.
Now, it's time to be charmed by the one and only Harley Quinn, shortly after Poison Ivy. Yes, I know what you're thinking, and you're right. But look, this is literally her entrance, so you can't even fault me for it. It starts off with Margot Robbie showing us her goofy side, but all eyes fall on her the moment she, dresses up. Mind you, the entrance is when she greets everyone with Deadshot by her side, but it does transition to her changing outfits, so I suppose it could be considered an extension of her appearance, right? Anyway, you know what I mean, okay? So I'm not going to drag this out any further.
What?
Alright, time for Steppenwolf to do some aura farming. He starts off with a great display by posing in front of all the Amazon ladies as if he's auditioning to be one of their suitors. Of course, all possibilities of romance are dismissed the moment he engages in battle with them and also dominates them with ease. Man, just listen to the lines he speaks. "I have come to enlighten you to the great darkness. I will bathe in your fear."
I have come to enlighten you to the great darkness. I will bathe in your fear.
And then we have the Amazonians replying with, "Daughters of Themyscira, show him your fear. We have no fear." Give that writer a raise. They were working as if the rent was due.
Daughters of Themyscira, show him your Enchantress.
To kick off my top 10, I have to give you something special. On that note, here's the coolest hand flip you'll ever see. What makes this moment shine is how seamlessly it pulls off a transformation which doubles as an entrance. The shift from June Moon's timid, vulnerable persona to the dark and commanding Enchantress feels completely effortless.
Meet the Enchantress. Everything we know about her is in your briefing packs.
It's such a sharp contrast that it immediately grabs your attention, especially so early on in the movie. And honestly, who could blame that one lady for clutching her cross and praying when faced with something so terrifying? I'm pretty sure most of us would have done the same thing. Even though Suicide Squad didn't win over a lot of fans or critics, this particular scene stands as a rare highlight. The tension, the visuals, and the performance all come together perfectly to deliver a haunting introduction to the Enchantress. It's one of those moments that reminds you a film doesn't have to be flawless to have flashes of brilliance.
How about a little something from the Weapons Ministry Vault in Tehran?
You've shown me pleasures that I've never known. That's why you deserve it. Everything. I love you, Lex Luthor.
Look who's next. Not only can Kevin Spacey be considered as a real-life villain, he also played one of the menacing Luthors ever. Some might even say that he looked more like Jeff Bezos in this role than Jeff Bezos himself. Jokes aside, he's introduced to the audience in a haunting manner as we see him in a seemingly innocuous situation. Of course, this is all to ensure that he got his hands on that poor old lady's money. But what else can you expect from a man like Lex Luthor? Yeah, the ending of the scene does feel a bit abrupt, considering how he takes off his wig and hands it over to that little girl. That doesn't offset the sense of malice that's quite evident when he gets his appearance. Well, if not anything else, we got to see a couple of cute dogs, so I'd say it's a balanced moment. Wouldn't you agree?
You can keep that. The rest is mine.
This is a bit of a hybrid between an entrance and a transformation, but we've already covered a few though, so we're good to go. The God of War has arrived and he makes sure to completely surprise everyone with his entrance. It takes a lot to baffle someone like Wonder Woman, yet Sir Patrick manages it perfectly when he reveals himself as Ares. Before his transformation, the film spends more time building up tension through dialogue and exposition, but the slower pace works in his favour. It gives the reveal real weight and makes the payoff satisfying once the truth comes out. When Diana launches her attacks, Ares barely flinches, calmly reminding her that she still has so much to learn. The chaos around them, filled with fire and explosions, makes his entrance even more imposing. The moment his armor begins to forge itself, it's easily the highlight of the sequence, creating a sense of mythic power that feels straight out of Zack Snyder's playbook. His influence is clear in the visuals and the drama. Having said that, I still maintain that Ares was toned down too much for this fight, considering his legendary reputation.
Let's see what kind of god you really are.
Man, talk about dramatic entrances. Our man casually entered the White House like it's no big deal and even struck a pose for the cameras to immortalize this moment. General Zod isn't the kind of guy who should worry about humans and their weapons, but when you have a knack for sass, you are somewhat bound to make a flamboyant display. What really stood out was the way Zod remained completely unbothered even with all kinds of firepower coming his way. He knew this was all a futile effort and probably just wanted to see to what extent the humans could try to hurt him.
You are the one they call president? I am.
He even takes pleasure in shooting a gun, which is something he doesn't even need. All of this is just to speak to his character, and it's executed brilliantly. I'm not quite sure what a bazooka's doing in the White House, but it's not like it would have made any difference anyway. Maybe Nightcrawler could learn a thing or two from Zod as well.
I see you are practiced in worshipping things that fly. Good.
Who the hell are you? It's me. Show your thumbs.
We've got all kinds of jokers on this list, haven't we? Seeing Jack Nicholson putting up to the scene here was kinda like when your boss sees the new you after a makeover. The brilliance of this entrance lies in its slow, deliberate build-up. When the Joker first steps into the room, hidden in shadows, he's still Jack Napier, a man who's bitter, furious, and seething with betrayal. His voice carries all that emotion, hinting at the man he once was. But the moment he steps into the light, that humanity vanishes, What emerges instead is something entirely different. It's the twisted, gleeful madness of the Joker.
Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker.
It's a transformation so complete and unsettling that it feels almost supernatural. Moments like this one are so rare now. They don't craft character reveals with this kind of patience and impact anymore. But yeah, I guess Grissom already knew he was cooked the moment we all heard the words, "You can call me Joker."
What a day.
You are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone.
In at number 5 is a truthful display of the concept around the fear of the unknown. The audience may have been familiarized with General Zod early in the movie, but when he makes his return, he shocks the world with a blurry reveal. Yes, we don't see Zod in 4K quality, but the very arrival of his ship and his speech were enough to have the Earthlings wondering what was going to come next. Heck, he even had freaking Superman interested in what was going on. Zod's message is one of the creepiest moments in any superhero movie. If you ask me, it's not just about the visuals, but mainly about the monologue he delivers. The line, "He will look like you, but he isn't one of you."
He will have made efforts to blend in. He will look like you, but he is not one of you.
Was so brilliantly thought out, because it may not bother us as the audience because we know Clark Kent, but the people of this universe must have gotten a chill up their spines when they heard these words. I mean, it's so good that I put it above OG Zod from 1980.
To Kal-El, I say this. Surrender within 24 hours.
Up next is a rather deadly third wheel. Black Manta takes no issue in messing up the romance between Aquaman and Mera, but considering this is Amber Heard we're talking about, I'd say the villain ended up saving the hero from a very toxic relationship. There's a strong sense of vengeance in Black Manta, considering the humiliation he suffered in their previous encounter, and this match was supposed to be the counter that he'd hoped for. Naturally, the enhanced suit worked wonders for the film's secondary antagonist, and that's what makes his abrupt entrance so impactful.
Loathsomeness waits and dreams in the deep, and decay spreads over the tottering cities of men.
Yes, I'd say the visual design of his eyes was a lot better in the entry I covered before, but in terms of overall significance, there's no comparison to our first look at this character in full force. I guess Atlantean steel does come with a whole set of advantages, doesn't it? On a lighter note, I can totally see a Power Ranger scene playing out in similar fashion, although minus the very prominent desire to kill the main character.
You can't run! You owe me blood!
It doesn't matter who we are. What matters is our plan.
Nolan's definitely getting more traction in the top tier, isn't he? But hey, we love Tom Hardy in a mask, and this is no different. As the concluding chapter of Christopher Nolan's acclaimed trilogy, The Dark Knight Rises faced the enormous challenge of following its predecessor. The film wastes no time introducing its new villain, who's reimagined as a grounded, terrifyingly plausible force within Nolan's gritty Gotham. His entrance alone sets the tone for everything that follows in the film.
No one cared who I was till I put on the mask.
Opening sequence sees Bane hijack a CIA plane mid-flight, posing as one of his own men before revealing his identity, abducting a scientist and escaping from the wreckage in a crazy aerial stunt. It's a masterclass in spectacle and precision, showcasing Nolan's signature realism and Hardy's commanding presence. There's his sheer physical dominance and also the eerie cadence of his voice, with every detail reinforcing Bane's mix of brute strength and strategic genius. The moment instantly establishes him as a villain worthy of Batman's final test and stands as one of the most unforgettable introductions in DC movie history.
Calm down, Doctor. Now is not the time for fear. That comes later.
Look who decided to show up this late. Darkseid really managed to turn the lead villain into a side character, and this is after we already got such a cool entrance for him earlier. Zack Snyder's Justice League finally delivered the version fans had long awaited for, and it easily outshined the 2017 theatrical cut by a good distance. Among its many standout additions was the proper introduction of our menacing Darkseid, who'd only been hinted at before. While his screen time is brief, the impact of his arrival is undeniable.
My lord.
After Steppenwolf's menace had been firmly established, Darkseid's appearance instantly changes the tone, reducing the proud general to a fearful servant. That power shift says everything about the hierarchy of evil in the DCEU storyline. It's a moment that doesn't rely on long dialogue or exposition, but pure visual storytelling. The scene's design, from the ominous lighting to the imposing CGI, amplifies Darkseid's presence and sets him apart as a true cosmic threat. Even with limited involvement in the story, his introduction leaves a lasting mark, becoming one of the most chilling and memorable moments in the entire film.
I will stride across their bones and bask in the glow of anti-life, and all of existence shall be mine.
Yep, there are a lot of Jokers out there, but Heath Ledger always reigns supreme. He's numero uno in any DC flick, even when it comes to entrances. The Dark Knight opens with a tense bank heist carried out by a bunch of masked criminals dressed as clowns. What seems like a coordinated robbery quickly spirals into betrayal as each thief turns on the other under unseen orders from the Joker. By the time he unmasks himself as the final survivor, it's clear that Heath Ledger's take on the character isn't just another comic book villain. Like, he's a ruthless strategist and an agent of chaos fit into one body.
What happened to the rest of the guys?
The sequence brilliantly captures his twisted philosophy through pure action without a single line wasted. Every shot builds tension and unpredictability, culminating in a chilling reveal that redefines what makes a villain truly terrifying. More than a simple robbery, this scene serves as a statement of intent for both the film and its central antagonist. It remains one of the cinema's most unforgettable introductions and easily the defining villain debut in the entire DC universe.
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you
stranger. Hope you liked the video. Please subscribe to the TV Regent, and here's another video I know you're going to enjoy.